They told him the wild Ocelot cat would tear him apart if he tried to touch it again. But no one was ready for what happened next. The jungle was silent when he stepped into the clearing, silent except for the sound of his own heartbeat. From the shadows, a pair of golden eyes fixed on him. The guide hissed, "If you move, the Ocelot cat will kill you." But he didn't move. Because deep down, he believed the Ocelot cat he raised with his own hands, the one who once purred in his lap, might still remember him. Before we begin, if this story touches your heart, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It means more than you know. When Lucas was 15, his older brother brought home a tiny Ocelot cat cub rescued from a trap. The cub's spotted fur was caked with mud, its ribs showing through its thin body. Lucas couldn't look away. At first, the Ocelot cat hissed, hid in corners, and swiped at him. But Lucas refused to give up. Every night, he sat by the little cage, whispering softly, sliding pieces of chicken through the bars. One rainy evening, the cub crawled into his lap and curled up. From that moment on, they were inseparable. For 2 years, the Ocelot cat followed Lucas everywhere. It slept on his bed, draped itself around his shoulders, and climbed trees just to leap into his arms. But as the Ocelot cat grew bigger and wilder, the family knew it couldn't stay. One morning, the sanctuary director told Lucas, "It's time. He needs the jungle now." Lucas held the Ocelot cat in his arms one last time. The cat pressed its head into his chest, letting out a soft, heartbreaking moan. Then they released it deep into the forest, and it vanished without looking back. Years passed. When Lucas's brother called him years later to visit the sanctuary again, he didn't hesitate. But the guide shook his head when Lucas asked about the Ocelot cat. "Don't even try. He's wild now. Bigger. Stronger. He doesn't know you anymore. He'll attack." But Lucas had to see for himself. They hiked at dawn, the ground wet underfoot, the air heavy with the smell of moss and rain. When they reached the clearing, everything went still. Then, the bushes moved. Golden eyes glowed in the shadows. The Ocelot cat emerged, its spotted coat shimmering in the dim light. It was much larger now, muscles rippling, tail twitching low. It stared at Lucas, ears pinned back. The guide whispered, "Do not move. Do not speak." But Lucas knelt anyway. Softly, he said, "It's me. Do you remember?" The Ocelot cat crept closer, its claws scraping the dirt. The silence was thick with tension. Then, with a sudden leap, it lunged straight at Lucas. Everyone gasped, but the Ocelot cat didn't bite. Instead, it pressed its head into his chest, letting out that same soft, heartbreaking moan it used to make. Lucas buried his hands in the warm, familiar fur, tears slipping down his cheeks. For a few moments, nothing else existed. Then, another surprise. From behind, a second, smaller Ocelot cat, a cub, appeared. It clung shyly to the bigger cat's side. Lucas's throat tightened. The Ocelot cat had made a family of its own. He whispered, "Good boy. You did it. You really did it." When it was time to leave, the Ocelot cat followed them to the river's edge. Its golden eyes stayed locked on Lucas, the cub tucked safely under its paw. As the boat drifted away, Lucas looked back one last time. The Ocelot cat was still there, tail wrapped protectively around its cub, a quiet promise shimmering in its gaze. Some bonds never break.